Right. So in this upcoming assignment number 4, what we're going to do is that we're going to start using Redux for managing state. Right. Also, we're going to take a look at how we can encode the state of the application in the URL. Right. So that if you do a refresh of the document, you still see it can survive a refresh. So we're going to install Redux. You'll need to install these 2 libraries, Redux and React Redux. And we're going to implement navigation so that when you click on a particular course, when you navigate to the course editor, it'll show the information about that course editor. Right? So it'll show the modules for that course. Same thing if you select on a module, it displays on the right-hand side the lessons for that module. And if you click on a lesson, it displays the topics for that lesson. Okay, so this is the mock-up for the course editor. So on the top we have the name of the current course. So this is when you navigate from the course list, right, from the course manager or course grid. You navigate to the course editor. We have here at the top we have the name of the course. We have the name of the course, and also the URL will have encoded, right, that you are looking at this particular course. Right? So, and if you click on X, you go back to where you were. Right? If you were in the course grid, you'll go back to the course grid. If you were in the course table, you'll navigate back to the course table. It'll work just like the back button. Also, going back and forth between the course editor and the course list, the back button should work. Right? So you go back where you were. If you go forward, you go back to the course editor. So the back button should work. Right now they don't. So that's the first thing. Then the next thing is that when you navigate to a particular course, you'll get a list of the modules for that course. Right? If you here on the module, if you click on plus, it'll add a brand new module whose default name should be new module. Okay. So if you click many pluses, right, it just adds new modules all the way down. You can go back and if you click on a particular course module, if you click on any module, it highlights it as the currently selected module. Right, it highlights it. Right, if you click on this one, it selects it. So right now these are examples of unselected modules. Right, if you click on it, it becomes selected. It always displays just a pencil for editing. If you click on the pencil, right, it replaces the label with an input field, right, with the value of that module. Yes? It also hides the pencil, but shows an X for removal or a checkbox for OK, for saving your changes. Right? Once you save it, it hides the if you click on X, it removes it from the list and you see it immediately. If you click on OK, right, it goes back to just being a label, right, and you see the pencil again. But it's not currently selected. It's a currently selected module. Only the selected module is ever highlighted. Here it shows that both are being highlighted, but really just the selected modules should be highlighted. So either if you're editing or selected, then it should highlight. All right. If you click on a module, if you select the module, right, it should display on the right-hand side the lessons for that module, and the lessons should render as tabs. And again, the behavior here is the same behavior as the modules, right? If you click on the plus, there's one plus sign at the end. If you click on that plus, it just adds new lessons on the right-hand side as tabs. Okay. If you normally you only display the pencil and the label, right? But if you click on a particular lesson, then it becomes highlighted as the currently selected lesson. Yes. If you click on the pencil, it replaces it with an input field with the name of the lesson, and you can change it. You can say OK, right, and then it changes the value that you have there. Or if you click on X, it removes the that lesson. Everybody okay? When you select the lesson, down below you can see the topics for that lesson. Right? Render as pills, and it behaves the same way as the lessons and the modules. Right? You have a plus, which adds new topics. It allows you to click on the pencil so you can edit, right, and then say OK or remove. Make sense? Down below here is where the widgets would be displayed. Presumably, when you select on a topic, you would show the widgets for that topic. We're not doing that this homework. Right? We'll do that in the next homework. Right? For now, the bottom should just show the hard-coded, I think header widget. I think it is. Just a hard-coded header widget at the bottom. Right? Next week, right, we'll start making that dynamic. Right? So right now, it's just hard-coded for this assignment. Everybody good? So the course editor should be implemented in a course editor component. So for 30 points, implement the course editor component. Right. To implement it, we're asking you to implement this left-hand side in a component called the module list, and it's up to you whether it's a component or a container. Right. It's a module list. The lessons in a lessons tabs and topics in a topic pills component. Okay? Right, so they're all independent of each other. Right? And they all come together in a parent course editor component. And the course editor component contains all these three components. Yes? Right, and it lays them out in this left-hand side, right-hand side. Yes?
So just to clarify, this part was originally supposed to be static and assembly, but now we're going to make dynamic and assembly.
Exactly. Yep. Yep, we're going to make this dynamic. So for 10 points for the module list, 10 points for the lesson tabs, and 10 points for the topic pills. Now each one of them needs to retrieve data from a server. To get the modules, you have to go fetch the modules. And so there'll be an API, right, that allows you to create a module. Now the module has to be a module for a given course ID. You need to now implement kind of like a one-to-many relationship, right? One course has many modules. So if you ask for the modules, I need to know the modules that belong to a particular course, right? And so you need to be able to create a course for a module. And the way we're going to implement that is that each module is going to have a foreign key called course ID. And the course ID is going to have a reference. It's going to have its value. It's the value of the ID of the course they belong to. Because that's how we're going to filter out and say, well, give me the modules for that course. And so you'll create all the CRUD operations, right? Find modules for course. If you give me the course, remember we used to implement things such as find all modules. Yes, we don't need that here. Right? The name might be set more like find all modules for a given course. If you give me the course ID, then I'll return only those modules. Right? If I select course 1, I get the modules for course 1. If I select course 2, I get the modules for course 2. Make sense? Find module is really optional. You should not need it, but if you do, implement it. So it's optional. Update module, you should be able to. If you give me, this is supposed to be module. If you give me the module ID, if I give you the module, I'll update that module or delete the module. Same thing for lesson. You'll need the same thing for lesson and the same thing for topics. So this is module. Okay? All right, so 10 points each. And then you'll need reducers. Right? Today we'll talk about reducers. Reducers are implementations of the finite state machines. So right now we are implementing finite state machines typically in a container. Right? We have all the event handlers there. Right? We have all the set state in there. Yes? So that's how we've been implementing our finite state machines inside of containers. And then sharing that state with all our children. So we're going to not do that. we're going to leave the course manager the way it is, right, using the old style. Right, we'll leave that. But for the course editor, we're going to use Redux. Okay? Typically, in a real environment, in a real industrial setting, you would not combine the two techniques. You would either go all Redux or no Redux. Right? It is an academic setting, so we're just learning about all the different ways of maintaining state. So it'll be even a good academic exercise on how do you combine the two strategies, right? But typically you would not do that. You would have all or nothing. Right? You would still use perhaps a regular state management for a self-contained component using its own little state machine, right? With the typical this.set state, right? But it would be a self-contained component. It would not be propagating that state to other components. Right? But for global state management, you would use Redux instead. Yes? Right? Okay, so you'll need a state machine for the module, you'll need a state machine for the lesson, and a state machine for the topic. Okay? And these are the events. These are the events that tell the state machine how to transition from one state to the next. What should happen when I'm finding, when I'm editing, when I'm creating, updating, right? So it transitions from one state to the next, right? And they're all implemented in these files, topic reducer.js, lesson reducer.js, or module reducer.js, yeah? And they are just functions that calculate the next state. That says, from the current state with these events, they calculate what the next state is, right? And that's how they implement that. And finally, make sure that to follow the naming conventions, right? Whether it's a component, a container, a service, right? Put them in the right directory. Okay. I think that's it. Yeah.
What's the expected naming convention for CSS files?
So that they could be a camel case, the file names, but inside the style, the name should be using dashes, since HTML is case insensitive. The name of the classes should be dashes if it's a compound words. I'll add that here. Right. Any questions? So basically the focus of this assignment will be to make the course editor dynamic using Redux. Okay?